Hello, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode number 226 for August the 1st, 2023. Can you believe we're halfway through basically the summer months? Yeah, going by way too fast, way too fast. Anyways, let's look at what I've been up to this week. You've seen this one before. It's the Tomte, and the Tomte is done. I'm very pleased with it. Yes, it was a bit intimidating with the number of squares you had to cut, but you know, there are methods for cutting squares very quickly, and I use those methods. I basically used my Applique quilt because these were 2.5-inch squares, and I do have a die for cutting 4 2.5-inch squares at a time. And the Applique quilt can cut several layers, up to 6, although I've sometimes gotten up to 8 layers of fabric. So, you know, it made short work of it. Now, needless to say, though, you had to prep the fabric beforehand. It still took me probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to cut all the squares that I needed. But it was well worth the effort, as you can see. At least I feel it is. I'm loving this guy. I had thought about giving him away as a gift when I first started this project, but I don't think I'm going to. I love him too much. And I'll let you in on a little secret. There is a brand new pattern for a Mrs. Tomte. Yeah, I'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but just let you know that, yes, there is a Mrs. Tomte in the future coming very soon. I hope. So that's one project all done, and the quilting that I did on it, you can't see it that well in this picture, but it is basically snowflakes and swirls. And right off the bat, when I saw all this white space that was on this quilt as I was starting to make it, I knew that was the design I wanted to use. That was right in my head. And I did add a little detail up here at the top in his little hat, the ball of his hat. I put in a freestanding lace snowflake that I created, and I basically glued that down with strong fabric glue. It won't come off. I thought about hand sewing it on, and I could have done that. I could have machine sewed it on, but it would have come through the layers of the quilt, and I didn't put that on until after I had the whole quilt quilted, because I did an edge-to-edge design, and I didn't really want to, you know, quilt over top of this embroidered piece. But I did decide to glue it down because, you know, me and hand sewing, not a good mix, and there's a lot of white on this quilt, which could have turned into a lot of red if I'm hand sewing. Also, I don't really intend to use this as a bed quilt. Actually, as an aside here, none of my quilts are on bed. Well, a couple of them are on beds, but most of them never see a bed. However, I decided not to wash it after I got it all done. And that way too, the embroidery piece would stay nice and crisp, I guess. But anyways, I'm really pleased with it. I think in the Christmas season in December, it'll come out. I'm going to attractively drape it over the arm of a couch or back of a couch on display, something like that. I might even hang it up if I can find a space to hang it up. Actually, it would look really nice on the wall, and I could probably hang it up on the wall behind me where, you know, I usually hang other Christmas quilts up there too. But this one could take a place. And actually, if I get the Mrs. Tomte done before Christmas, that would be a really cute pair on display. Okay, here's a close-up, all right. Disregard the loose thread. When I took the picture, I forgot to take the loose thread. Well, I didn't notice the loose thread sitting here on the top of his nose. Let's just call that a gnome booger, shall we? But now you have a little better look at the quilting in this. And that's what the back of it looks like. Now, the back, you can't really see the quilting unless you get right down and examine it, because the back is a very busy fabric to start with, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. Who sees the back anyways? Okay, I'm still working on the cat scratch quilt by Art East Quilt Company. You can see I've got a couple of other cats that you saw it last. This one, it's sitting here looking very cute. And this guy, I've got another block to go before I put all 4 of the blocks together for this cat. And he's reaching up, and it's the scratching parts that I have to make yet for that cat. I did start it and realized that some of the pieces were not the right size because I cut them the wrong size. So at that point, I was a little frustrated, figured best to put it aside and come back to it when I'm more refreshed. And I may get to that sometime today as well. I have been experimenting too. You basically, as a palette cleaner, I have a lot of AccuQuilt dies, as you know, and this was an AccuQuilt die called Mosaic number 4, and I bought it at the quilt show in Halifax, but I hadn't got around to basically taking it out of the package and trying it. So I thought I would the other day, and I really love the design of this. And I may make a few more of this. I might make a whole quilt of these at some point in time, not necessarily using these fabrics. I just kind of grabbed these fabrics out of my fat quarter drawer just to try it, to see how it went together. Although I do like it. Might be a little busy. You know, the little squares down in the corner here should have been maybe a little bit higher contrast, but that's how you figure these things out. You know, do an experimental block and move on. I have a lot of experimental blocks from my AccuQuilt dies, just sitting in a box, and I might dig them out one day and do a little improv quilt. Just basically randomly sew them all together and see what I get. You know, be a scrappy kind of improv quilt, I guess you might call it. We'll see. That's down the road. Okay, yeah. So those are the projects that I have been working on and will continue to work on. Right now, I'm getting a little overwhelmed, as usual, and I'm sure I'm not the only person out there that this happens to. There are so many cool patterns out there, and I see one and go, ooh, I want to do that. Ooh, I want to do that. Ooh, I want to do that. I really need to organize my patterns better than they are right now. I have a filing cabinet drawer stuffed, literally stuffed. I can't open it and close it properly with patterns I have collected. Some are done, some have never been done, some will never be done. So I need to go through those and organize those a little better. But I also have patterns sitting in other spots in this room as well. I need to start prioritizing, but of course, I want to start working on more Christmas projects as well. But I need to get the cat scratch fever quilt done, and I'm still working on things for the December retreat that I'm going to in Georgia. Stephanie's retreat, Stephanie Stitches' retreat, and I haven't finished all those little projects yet that I'm making. So yeah, I mean, I work on this stuff every day. I need 3 of me to finish it all. But you know, better to have too much than too little when it comes to a hobby, I think, because you know, it's a hobby. It keeps you going, right? And I'm definitely going. Okay, so Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen is coming up this Wednesday as per usual. 9 a.m. start time, but you can come anytime you want, and yeah, we'll probably be there all day. So yeah, join us for a little while or for the whole day, whatever you know you can manage or want to manage, and enjoy yourself. And speaking of coming and going and enjoying yourself, I am having a pop-up sew day this coming Saturday, August the 5th, 2023, starting at 8 a.m. in the morning. Again, come when you want to. Leave when you want to. You do not have to be there at 8 o'clock, okay? And this is a Zoom. There's lots of room. Don't worry about not having a spot when you come on. To date, that has never happened. Although, I must say that with each pop-up sew day, we've had a few more people. And we usually average in around, now it's around 40 or so. Don't let the number intimidate you. Everybody is extremely friendly, fun, working on projects. It's very inspiring. I feel so rejuvenized, I guess, after a pop-up sew day. To the point where on the night before and the night after, I have trouble sleeping because I'm just filled with all kinds of ideas from the pop-up sew day. And that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. So that's this coming Saturday. Now here in Canada, for I think almost every province, we have a long weekend. Here in Ontario, we used to call it the Civic Holiday Weekend. I think its technical name is Lord Simcoe Day, but each province calls it something a little different. But it's a 3-day weekend. But we're not doing anything on that weekend. It's not like we have a cottage to run off to. A lot of people do. We don't. And so we're going to be here. Now, I hate to say this, but I'm hoping the weather won't be nice. That's bad to say. Well, the reason I say that is because then you don't feel like you're not tugged in two different directions, right? Going, oh, it's a really nice day. It's the middle of the summer, it's a long weekend. We should be out and about and doing things on that day. Well, yeah. But if it's kind of miserable out, kind of gray, dull, and cold and rainy, that's the perfect day for indoor sewing. Of course, if it's a really nice day, you could take your sewing outdoors too. You have to have a connection, but I'm just going to look up and just see out of curiosity what the weather forecast for my area is this coming Saturday. Well, let's see. Well, it's going to be sunny. No chance of rain. Low of 14, high of 25. Very nice day. Very pleasant. Okay, whatever. I'll be here regardless, okay? And I hope to see you then. So there is a link in the show notes for the pop-up sew day, and those of you on my mailing list, I sent it out yesterday. Now, I screwed up a little bit, and I'm sure, well, I know some of you found the screw up because you were writing me little comical notes about it. My last pop-up day was for my birthday, and I called it Stephen's Birthday Bash Pop-Up Sew Day. And I have little blurbs. Instead of having to rewrite the same thing over and over again, I have a little file of my blurbs that I just cut and paste into my emails. Okay? Yeah, I'm lazy. Actually, I think I'm efficient. However, I could be too efficient because I forgot to edit out the line that said it was Stephen's Birthday Bash Pop-Up Sew Day. And a few of you caught that and said, oh, your birthday's going on forever. Or you're having 2 birthdays? Okay, funny. I get the joke. And at first, I didn't realize I had put that in. Then I got a couple of these messages and went, wait, what did I do? Went back, checked it, and saw, oh yeah. So you got 2 messages. You got a second message that said, no, it's just an ordinary pop-up sew day. It has nothing to do with my birthday. So I know that. I think most people figured that out. Although there could have been a few people that weren't at the last one and thought it was my birthday. So it's not. It's just a pop-up sew day. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So that went out yesterday, Monday. All right. So I have some fabric to show you. I ordered about a week ago from a spot called A Little Extra Something Special. It is an online fabric store. I believe they're located out in BC, British Columbia. And that is not how you if you do a search for Little Extra Something Special fabric, you will find it. But the actual name of the site is fabricforless.ca, I believe. Fabricforless.ca. Let me check that. Yes, it's called lessfabricplace.ca, but it's actually called Little Extra Something Special. I don't know why it has 2 names. It is very, very confusing when you go to try to look it up. But anyways, that's what it is. lessfabricplace.ca. It's in the show notes if you want to check them out. They have some fantastic prices. Shipping is very, very reasonable, and they have a nice selection of stuff. Thing is, they only get so much of everything in whenever they get it. I do believe they have a Facebook page that you can join, and that's where they will come up with whatever's come in recently and let you know. And things do go fast. But anyways, I bought these fabrics. They're a little bit different. They have a lot of purple in them, which is one of my second favorite colors is purple, and blues, of course. And if you look over on the far left side over here, there's kitties. I bought 3 meters of this because Walter's going to make me a shirt from it. Now, he's not thrilled with that fabric for a shirt. I am. I love it. It's got my colors in it, and it's got cats. What can I say? So, yeah. Do I need another cat shirt? Yes, I do. I need another cat shirt for sure. And you can see the other ones. Now, do I have anything in mind for these yet? Nope, I do not. But they're pretty. And you know what my philosophy is about fabric. If it's pretty, I want it, I get it. So that was from A Little Extra Something Special. As I said, link is in the show notes below. And Ultimate Sewing, my local quilt store, had, let me just see if I can get the picture up here. Here it is. Had a sale, a garage sale on the weekend. If you bought the whole bolt, like end of the bolt kind of a thing, you got 25% off. And they also had some wide back. They didn't have a lot to choose from in the wide back, but there was one that I picked up. You can see it there. It's that turquoisey blue with the little swirls on it. That's a fit for a queen pre-cut wide back fabric bundle. I love those fabrics that come from Fit for a Queen. They are a nice thick fabric. They make great backing. I've used them quite a bit. So, you know, good price. I got 30% off on that, and I believe it was like $70. So 30%, I got what? That's $21 off. That's pretty good. So all these other fabrics were things that were, you know, what was left on a bolt. So they're various lengths. Walter was doing a good job of hunting through the shelves and pulling out bolts for me. And he says, how about this one? I said, yep, take it, take it. So I think I got 19.7 meters of fabric. It worked out to $12 a meter. That's fantastic. And I picked up some colors that I'm a little lacking in my fabric collection. The greens, for example, and some oranges. I don't have a lot of those, so I picked some of those up as well. And I got some of the whites because, or the ones with a pattern on, because you know you can always use those as background. Now you see there's a little package sitting there of strips. Ruby Days it's called. I can't read who it's by, but I think it's Wilmington Fabrics. So while I was waiting in line to pay for the goodies that I bought, Shirley, the owner of the store, came up to me, and she had like about 4 or 5 of these strip packs in different colors in her hand. She says, which one do you like the best? So I picked the red one. I mean, there was a blue one, but I've got lots of strip things of blue ones. But I said, red one. She says, it's yours. It was a gift. It was a freebie. Yeah. Apparently one of you are responsible for this because you went to her store and you bought a sewing machine. And you and told her that the reason you came into the store was because I had talked about Shirley's store, Ultimate Sewing, on my YouTube channel. And this was a thank you gift from Shirley for, you must have bought a big machine, whoever you were. Now, I don't know. She didn't tell me who the person was. I should have asked her, actually. I was just taken aback. This was quite a pleasant surprise. You know, free fabric. Yeah, sure. Who doesn't love that? But even more so, I'm very happy that somebody supported Shirley, because that's why I mention Shirley on here all the time. I mention Ultimate Sewing on here. It's in my show notes as well, link to them. You can order from them online as well. And I'm very happy that someone is supporting my local quilt store. That was really nice of you. So if you want to send me a message, an email message or something, just to let me know who you are, if you want to know, I'm just curious who you are. And thank you for supporting Ultimate Sewing. And thank you that you got me a free gift. I didn't know I was going to get that. Yeah, okay. Freebies are fun. All right, so that was the hauls and things that I bought last week. Let's go to something else I bought last week, and I'm going to do a demo with it. This was an impulse buy. I saw this on a YouTube video from someone who has a store somewhere in the States or whatever, and she was toting this as being a godsend for cleaning your cutting mat. Now, when I clean my cutting mat, and I don't do it that regularly, but I probably should do it more regularly, I usually just use a little, a damp microcloth and go around it. You don't want to use any harsh cleansers or something abrasive because you might take the numbers and lines off your cutting mat. So, and that usually does a good job. If I've got a couple of stubborn spots on it, I will use just a like an art eraser kind of a thing and give it a little rub with that, and that, pulls off whatever. But this little device is made of a very soft silicone like plastic, and it's got little ridges on it, and you put it on your hand, and it's supposed to do a wonderful job of cleaning your mat. Was pricey little item. I mean, in the States at this store, she was advertising it at $8.99 American. But of course, shipping would have killed me from that, plus the exchange rate. So I went on Amazon. Well, on Amazon, it came out to, with tax, the whole bit, about $20 for this thing. Was it worth the money? Well, you can be the judge. I did a little video to show you what this thing is all about.
I just got this because it was an impulse buy, and I saw it on YouTube, and it was done by someone that is one of the people who runs the Quilting Academy, which is a, what do you call it, a network for long armors. And this person is in the States, and she also has a store, and she was recommending this for cleaning your cutting mat. So I went on Amazon and got one. They weren't particularly inexpensive. It's cost about $22 Canadian with the tax, free shipping, Prime. And I believe she was selling it for about $8.99 American at her store. I have no idea what it would have been if you had purchased it and had it shipped. Anyways, it's called the Gypsy Quilter Heart-Shaped Mat Cleaning Pad. Give your cutting mat some love with this heart-shaped silicone scrubbing mat. Use a circular motion to remove loose thread and fabric fibers and help heal the mat. Okay, so that's the only instructions you have on this. I have not taken it out of the package yet, as you can see, so we're going to do that now. And this is what it looks like, and it is heart-shaped, and it has these different sort of little ridges, and I guess the idea here is, there's a little hole in it, you put your fingers in here, and you scrub around on your mat, and I guess these different little shapes that are here go into the new little nooks and crannies that your rotary cutter has made and pulls out any fibers. Okay, this is perfectly clean at the moment. Let's take a look at what happens when I go over this mat. Now, I haven't cleaned this mat in quite a while, but let's just see. So, ooh, makes squeaky noises. Now, one thing right now, this is a Martelli mat, and I do like this mat. I don't like a lot of Martelli's products, but I do like their mat. And I've had it for quite a while. Now, I do clean it every now and then. And I usually just use a paper towel and some, soap and water kind of a thing and go over the mat with that. And that usually does the trick. Now, I haven't done it, as I said, in a while, so I have no idea what this is going to pick up. And I don't see any loose threads or anything like that really in my mat as I do this. But let's see. In fact, I'm just going to go down here, and I'm a little off camera. I realize that. Probably a little crooked, too. Having a little problem with my holder. This is the area where I cut a lot, right in here. I'm putting moderate pressure on this, not a lot. Sorry about the movement of the camera. This stand, I think it's time to get a new stand. Okay, let's take a look. Did it pick up anything? Well, it's hard to see. There is a little bit. Now, is this better than using something like soap and water and a microcloth? I don't know. Verdict's still out. I'll have to come back to this and try again when it gets really dirty. Um, Maybe using this in conjunction with some soap and water might be good too. So anyways, was it worth $22 I paid for it, including the shipping and the tax? Yeah, I could live without it. I really could. But I thought I'd give it a try anyways.
So I will try it again. My mat wasn't that dirty to start with, as you could see in that video. So I'll wait and after a while and try it again and see, what's going to do. I mean, I have it. Let's use it. Okay, so that takes me to Subscribers Quilt of the Week, and this one comes from Nobody Strange to us here, a regular subscriber and has been for a long time, and we've seen some of her lovely creations before, and here's another one, and this is from Teresa de Jong. This week's Quilt of the Week is not a quilt, not even close to a quilt, but it is a piece of very challenging sewing, I am sure, and it comes from Teresa de Jong, and she said, I mentioned on Stephen and Walter Live that I was sewing and I'm not sure how to say this word, bimini, which is actually a sunshade for a friend's boat. Well, here it is. So I am assuming the sunshade is this piece, this canopy piece here that she is talking about. And I can see how that would be very challenging because I'm sure that's made out of very heavy fabric, probably a canvas fabric. And so you're going to have a good sewing machine and a good needle to get through that. I don't know if Teresa did this from a pattern or it was just something she took the measurements for and customized for this particular use. But either way, it just shows you the versatility, if you know how to sew, all the different things that you can possibly make. So thank you, Teresa, for showing us or sharing that picture of that creation with us. And although it's not a quilt, I still think it's a very interesting piece. And that takes me to the YouTube of the week. And this comes from, I just discovered this YouTube channel, and it's called Sister Chicks Quilting. The YouTube channel of the week this week is one I just recently came upon, but it's been around for quite a while and has quite a few subscribers, so I don't know why I've never discovered it before. And it's called Sister Chicks Quilting. And there's a lot of really interesting things on here. So if we take a look right now at, let's see her video list. You can see she has things about, well, the one that I just recently discovered was sewing room organization ideas, creating a quilt ladder and creating a pressing station, which I thought were both very, very good videos. But she has so many more. Christmas in July, quilting on a budget. I made a complete 4-hour quilt, make this beautiful 2-block quilt, a trunk show, how I make a quick and free 3-yard quilt. She has a ton of videos that I think are very interesting, very inspiring, and very informative. If we take a look at how she organizes her videos in her playlists, she has trunk shows, she has Easter quilts, she has 3-yard quilts, 12 Days of Christmas, handmade Christmas gifts, and how quilting helped me through cancer. So there's quite a variety of videos here for everyone. So if you didn't know about this particular YouTube channel, you may want to check it out. It is a possibility that I might contact her for an interview in the future. So a future project that's coming up, and I kind of want to do this one possibly in Christmas fabrics, and it is fat quarter friendly, and I do have a big, huge fat quarter bundle of really nice Christmas fabrics that might work with this particular pattern very well. But here's what I'm talking about. This week's future project is called Bundles of Joy, and I picked up this pattern from Mad About Patchwork on sale, and I loved it. And I loved it for several reasons. One, this is definitely a fat quarter friendly pattern, and I have lots of fat quarter bundles that I want to use up, and I think this one would be great because you could use a variety of patterns from that. And two, if you use Christmas fabrics, this could look like Christmas gifts. So both ways of using it, and yes, as I said, it is very fat quarter friendly. Now it comes in 3 sizes, baby, throw, and a twin, which is great. I'd probably make the twin because I like a bigger quilt. Um, but very reasonably priced if you don't get it on sale, $15 US. The link for it's in the show notes below. And I think it looks like a fairly easy pattern to do, and one that definitely is manageable if you've got some fat quarter bundles you don't know what to do with. Now, they do have, they do show you on here what you need for the fabric, and you can see you need 10 fat quarters or 8 or 20 fat eighths to make the twin. So that's pretty good. So bundles of joy, I think that's one that's definitely on my list of projects to do very soon, I'm hoping. So I do have an interview. It goes live today on the site, and it is with the creator of the Tomte. And you know how much I love my Tomte. Well, this is the creator. Her name is Tracy Perks of Rope and Anchor Trading Company. She's in the UK. She lives and sews on a boat. Can you believe it? And in the interview, we talk about that as well. But she is a really interesting person. She has some really cool and different uh, patterns that are available. They're PDF, so it's really easy to get your hands on these. And she is developing more. And well, here is a teaser to that particular interview.
In England, and I am on a narrowboat, and we are in roughly around a little market town called Leighton Buzzard in Bedfordshire. So that's where we are. We move around, so we're not in the same place for more than 2 weeks.
And that's because you live on a boat, right?
That's because we live on a boat and we are called continuous cruisers. It's a narrow boat, and we have to, by old bylaws, we have to move every 2 weeks.
Ah, I see. Okay, but wow, really interesting. Certainly, I think that would be a lot of fun. And I know you have a. Do you have another boat where your studio is on, or is your studio also on the boat you're on right now?
Yep. So my studio, we got this about 18 months ago. I've been working out of it for a year now. This is a smaller boat. It's a 26-foot narrow boat. And it had sunk when we just after we'd before we'd bought it, and we stripped everything out, the walls, everything, and rebuilt the whole lot, done some welding on the hull, and it's now my floating studio where
So check out the interview. The link is in the show notes below, and I know you're going to enjoy hearing of what Tracy has to tell us about her quilting journey. And yes, I'm still absolutely gobsmacked by the fact that she lives on a boat and has a separate boat as her studio. And she talks all about that in the interview, so you'll want to check it out. Also, she's a very lovely person, and she sent me two patterns. She just developed a Mrs. Tomte, and I had sent her a picture of my finished Tomte and told her how much I had enjoyed doing it. So she sent me the PDF pattern for Mrs. Tomte and for the giraffe. And I was talking about that I was going to get my hands on that giraffe at some point in time and do that. Now, it's going to take me a while to get to these projects, but what a generous person and a lovely person. Um, I wish that I lived closer to her, because this is just somebody I think I would love to, I'd love to be invited to spend a day sewing on her boat. I mean, did I mention she's on a boat? Yeah, I'm absolutely fascinated by that. Okay, enough about that. You can check out the interview for yourself. Link is in the show notes. Okay, that takes me to online quilting stores this week. This one comes from Cornwall, Ontario. Cornwall, Ontario is on the way to the Quebec border. It's a good 3.5 hours maybe from me. So I've never really been there. I had the opportunity, didn't think about it when we were coming back from our trip from the East Coast. Um, but it's called Auntie Emm's. And here's my review of Auntie Emm's Quilt Store. This week's online quilt store is called Auntie Emm Scrapbooking and Quilting. So this is a 2-for-1. If you're into scrapbooking or paper crafts, they do handle some supplies for that, and they handle supplies for quilting. So let's take a look at what they have to offer. And they are located in, let's just see under contact if I can find it. Yes, they're located in Cornwall, Ontario. So let's go back to their homepage and take a quick look at how they have this organized. They have a newsletter, quilting, scrapbooking, calendar, and events, our gallery, and contact us. Welcome to Auntie Emm's. A little bit about us. We are a scrapbook and quilt store dedicated to providing customers with inspiration and encouragement and all the supplies that go with it. Auntie Emm Scrapbooking and Quilting, where the memories are homemade. Enjoy. So then they have some new products on the first page. They have some things on sale as well. And it looks like they have a newsletter as well. Okay, let's jump into their quilting section because that's what we're most focused on, but we may take a look at their scrapbooking as well since I come from a scrapbooking background. And we have on the left-hand side of the page, batting books, card decals, fabric, kits, notions, patterns, pre-cuts and bundles, punch needle, rulers, sales corners, simple whatnots club by Kim Dahl, and thread. And then they list it by brands as well. So let's pop into their fabric and see what they have to offer here. Well, they have it by manufacturer's name, and it's in here graphically as well as written out in text on the left side of the page. And they have 3 wishes, they have Bella Solids, they have Clothworks, they have quite a variety. Lots of Moda by the looks of things, 739, and they have Northcott. Well, let's check out Northcott. No, let's check out Timeless Treasures because I love Timeless Treasures as well. Okay. 17.99 to 19.99. I imagine that's per meter, but we'll double check that in a minute. Not a bad selection, not the best I've seen in that line. Let's just click on one and see if I'm right about it being by the meter. No, they sell it by the yard. Okay, you know my pet peeve. Canadian store should be sold in meters, not in yards. 17.99 though is not out of the way. That's on the lower end of the scale. Let's go back and see if what they charge for, say, Northcott. I usually go to Northcott because Northcott is a Canadian company and also one of my favorite fabric production companies. Canvas, Colorworks, Lakeside Lodge, My Canada, Stonehenge, White Christmas. Well, let's just go to Canvas because Canvas is a standard with them. $11.99, $13.99 a yard. That's good. That's a really good price actually for that. They do have a bundle of it as well. And I imagine though that's on the lower end of the scale because it's almost reads as a solid. It's not a solid, more of a grungy like type fabric, but it is a standard. But let's take something like, well, let's check out their Christmas because Christmas fabrics do tend to be a little bit more expensive. $16.99 a yard. That's not out of the way either. Not a lot to choose from, but it's there. So price-wise, I think they're pretty good. Now, what does that involve when it comes to shipping? So let's see if we can find shipping. It's under policies. Shipping, here we go. Our shipping is based off a total order amount and will vary depending on the amount you are purchasing. Okay, that doesn't tell me a heck of a lot. Let's go back to shop online and let's pick something as if we were going to buy it then. Fabric. Oops, that took me back to everything. So let's just pick something. We'll grab one at random, Clothworks. And quantity. I guess I need to put in 4 if I want. I don't know why that's not doing it. Maybe they don't have much of that left. Okay, let's pick something else. It figures I'd pick something that isn't standard. Let's see, how about this one? Ah, here we go. So there's a yard, okay. I'm adding that to the cart. Let's add a lot of it to the cart. Let's go 5 yards. Add to cart. It says quantity 2. I added it to the cart. I don't know what that's all about. Okay. 2 yards. Okay, I want 5. I guess I didn't click. Okay, I've got a $100 order here. All right, let's go to checkout. Free in-store shipping options based on postal code. Okay, let's see here. $15 economy, 3 to 5 business days. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all, really. So yeah, so shipping is fairly reasonable. Okay, let's go back to the shop online. Oh, let's dump the cart. View cart. Let's get rid of that because I don't want that. And back to shopping. And I noticed that they said they had pre-cuts as well. So let's check their pre-cut selection. Pre-cuts and bundles. Say they have 151. 3-yard quilt bundles, charm packs, fat quarter bundles, jelly rolls, layer cakes. Okay, everything that you would expect. Let's drop into fat quarter bundles and see what the selection is. Snowed in fat quarter. Canvas. Riley Blake. Prices look about standard for the bundles. And they've got, well, not a lot maybe to choose from, but a few. Okay. They also had kits. Let's see what they show for kits. Go back one more. Kits. Okay. Yeah. None of these are really grabbing me. They're pretty standard. Seen them in other places as well. A lot of 3-yard quilt bundle kits. Looks like they have Elizabeth Hartman. Yeah, not a huge selection. Prices are about standard, I'd say there. Anything else we want to check out here that was in that list? Patterns. Let's see what they have for patterns. They have 655. Now they're listing them by company. Okay, so if you have a particular company you like I like Cozy Quilts. Do they have Cozy Quilts? Yes, they do. They have 4 in Cozy Quilts. And 2 of them are sold out. $12.99, $15.99. Yeah, standard prices. Okay. What else? Classes. Let's check out their classes. MD, bring your own lunch placement roll. This workshop will take you from A to Z in quilting. You will learn to cut, half square, triangle, piece, quilt the placemat, and bind. Okay, basically it looks like it's a beginner's class and you're making this table runner, $40. No real dates for when this class is happening. Okay. There we go. If I add it to the beginner's class, select a date. Okay, so they have it on September the 23rd and 6 seats are available. Okay, so let's check out their calendar, see if they have any other things coming up. In July 22nd, that's gone by. And that's all we've got. Okay, nothing else. All right, now they do have, they did have thread. Let's go back to quilting. and take a look. I think they said that their thread, is it Aurifil? Yes, they have Aurifil and Valdani thread. What are they charging for Aurifil? 50 weight. $14.99 for a single roll. That's pretty good. Oh, $16.99 though there. Oh, that's the Mako thread though. And then about $16.99. So it looks like their price for, well, it goes up. It depends. It really depends. It's all 50 weight, but it's some are $18.99, some are $16.99. So that's interesting. So that's right now, but that's not a bad price for Aurifil because it has gone up, but that's about standard. All right, what else can we check on here? Well, I think that might be about it. Oh, well, let's just take a peek at the scrapbooking. So they have adhesives, albums, brads, chipboard dies. They have a fair selection here. Ink pads, mediums, stencils. Yeah, if you're a scrapbooker, it looks like, or paper crafter, it looks like they have quite a bit to choose from, and they have cardstock as well. Okay, I don't do scrapbooking anymore, but you know, who's to say I wouldn't do some in the future along with quilting? Probably not. I think I've exhausted that avenue. Anyways, that's Auntie Emm's Scrapbooking and Quilting, located in Cornwall, Ontario. And so you might want to check them out because they do look like they have good prices, shipping isn't bad, and they have a fairly good selection. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this edition of the Idiot Quilter. Remember, Pop-Up Sew Day this coming Saturday. Be there, be square. So the link is in the show notes for the Zoom link for that, and we start at 8 o'clock, but come whenever you please. And yeah, I think that's about it. Just a begging question here. Please subscribe. It helps. You know I have a goal. I don't think I'll make the goal. My goal is for 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I'm almost at 9,000, but you know, it's one subscriber at a time. But if you have come here on a regular basis and you haven't subscribed to me, please do. It helps me out. And I hate begging. I really do. But Walter says I have to do this. So if Walter says I have to do it, I have to do it. Okay? Right. Okay. I'm rambling. I'm going. Have a great week. Bye-bye.